Welcome back. Now it's time to start a discussion about variables. So what are variables? Variables are containers for specific values. And to create such a container, such a variable, we're gonna first need to define a name to this variable because we're gonna use it in our code. I'm gonna type name. So this is the name of the variable, name. We put equals and then we assign the value. So what value this variable is gonna store. So what data this container is gonna have. And we put in single quotes or double quotes. I'm gonna type Alex. Now, to print the value of this variable, you simply use the print function. We're gonna see what functions are later in the course. And inside the parentheses of print, we type name, and we run this code, and we get Alex. So this print, it's printing the value which is stored in this variable name, and it's printing Alex because this is the value which is stored in this variable. If I put this in single quotes or double quotes, let's put in single quotes, and if I run this, it will print simply name because we'll treat this as, and this is the type of this variable. The type of this variable is a string. String means a sequence of characters. So this is what we have here, a sequence of characters. So a string variable stored in this variable name. So if you put single quotation marks or double quotation marks, it's of type string. And to prove you, I'm gonna type here type parentheses around the variable, so around the variable name. And now if you run this, you're gonna see the type of the variable. And we have, you can ignore this for now, class, and have str, short for string. So this is a variable of type string which stores text. You can create another variable. So I can go down here and I can create another variable. I'm gonna call it, let's change the first variable from name to, let's change the name to first name. And it's a convention to give, if the name of your variable has multiple words, to use underscores to separate the words. So I'm gonna type first name equals Alex, and I'm gonna create another variable, so another container, last name. It's gonna be equal again in equals, so you assign the value in double quotation marks or single quotation marks, Dobinka. Now I can print here. And what I'm going to do now is called concatenating a string. I'm gonna put here single quotation marks, double quotation marks, or single quotation marks. You can choose whatever you want. I'm gonna type your name is, and outside the quotation marks, I'm gonna put a plus. So we are adding now to our text some other text. I'm gonna type first name, and I'm gonna put another plus, last name. So what is gonna happen now is that this print is gonna execute the code inside the parentheses, which is to print the text your name is, plus the value which is stored in the variable first name, Alex, plus the value which is stored in the variable last name, which is Dobinka. So now if you run this, you have your name is Alex Dobinka, and you don't have a space here, but you can put a space. You can put a plus, and you can put single quotation marks, and have a type space here, put space, and another plus here. So now if you run this, you have your name is, and you have Alex Dobinka. Or another way, so let's put here your full name is. So let's run this. So you get your full name is Alex Dobinka. So this is the variable, the string variable used for storing text or sequence of characters denoted by single quotation marks or double quotation marks. Okay, let's comment this code, and by comment I mean let's make this code to be not executed by the compilers. So I'm gonna put a hashtag here, and now that code is gonna be ignored by the compiler. It's not gonna be executed. So let's put here in front of all the lines of code. Now if you run this, you're gonna see nothing in the auto because now this is simply text. It's not code which is gonna be executed. And let's look at the next variable, and let's look at the integer, or the int data type, short for integer. And I'm gonna type here, let's say age, the name of the variable, and I'm going to put in the variable 25, my age. Now to print the value of this variable, we type print and we type age. Now if you run this, you get 25. Now let's say that I want to see the type of this variable. I can type here type, I put parentheses around the variable age, and I run this code and I see class, and we have int, short for integer, for storing whole numbers. Now I'm gonna go down here, I'll add another print, and now let's say that I want to add some text, to add the text to the I want to add the text with the variable age. How I am gonna do that? I'm gonna type here your age, so the text is, so in double quotation marks, that is string, and plus age. And now if I run this, look what happens. We get type error, can only concatenate string, not int to string. So you can only concatenate, you can only add text to text, you cannot add text, you cannot add text, and then you cannot add an integer to that text. To solve this, we need to cast, and cast means to change the type of a variable. So we can change the type of the variable from integer to string. So I'm going to type str in front of age. This is a function, and we put the variable age inside the str parentheses. And now if you run this, now you get your age is 25. We can change, of course, this variable. You can go down here and you can put another value. I can call the variable age, and as you can see, it's a variable denoted by the V letter. I can press enter to fill in that word for me, and I can assign another value here. Like I can type here, let's say 30, and I'm gonna copy this, I'm gonna paste it here, and now if you run this, it will say your age is first 25, because this is the first value that we assign to a variable age. So it's outputting 25 in the output, and then we get 30 because the value was changed on line 8, and consequently it printed 30 in the output. Alright, I'm gonna comment this code again, and I'm gonna move to the next variable, to the next type. Collectively they are called data types, and data types means storing different data in variables. So you have different containers for different stuff to store. And let's look at float. And float means floating point number, and a floating point number is a number which has a decimal part. So I can type here, let's say I'm gonna type price, the name of the variable, equals, and I'm gonna put here 25.5, and I'm gonna add print here, price. I'm gonna call the variable. Now if I run this, we get 25.5 being output in console. So you have the decimal part. So this variable is of type float, and if I want to check that it's of type float, I'm gonna type type in front of the variable. I'm gonna put parentheses around the price variable, and if I run this code, we get class, and we have float for floating point number, for storing numbers which have a decimal part. And if you want to concatenate some string, you need to do the same thing here. I'm gonna put double quotation marks. I'm gonna say the price is plus str for string around the price. We should put a plus here. Now if I run this, we get class and we get str type. But I should put here, let's delete this, let's delete this, let's run it again, and now we get the price is 25.5, so we have the decimal part. So these are discussion about the floating point number for storing numbers which have a decimal part. I'm going to comment this code, but before we move to the next type, which is the boolean type, let me show you something with that we can do with the integer, and let me uncomment those lines of code so they're going to be executed. And one thing that you can do is that you can type here age, so I can assign a new value to our age equals to the previous value of age plus 1. And now if you run this, let's copy this and let's move it on the next line. Now if I run this, it's gonna say your age is, and I have 26 because now it's adding 1 to the age variable and storing that in the age variable. And there is a shorter way to write what we have here. It's an abbreviation. You can put simply here age plus equals 1 and it will have the same output. So if you run this, you get class integer from this line, then you get age, you get your age is 26. So this line was executed and it says here your age is 26. Now let's comment this code. Let's comment this code. To not be executed, and let's look at the boolean type. So I'm gonna type here online equals, and I'm gonna type true. And this the boolean data type is used to store only true and false. So you can put here true or false. Those are the two values which can be stored in a boolean data type. We cannot put anything else than true or false. And this, you may be wondering where we're going to use this. So let's type here print, and we're going to use this in conjunction with if statements to make decisions. So let's run this code and we get false. And if I change this to true, I'm going to run this, we get true. So now you may be wondering, but why not using strings? So put here true, and you can see the color change. Because as I said, this will be used in conjunction with the if statements. We're gonna make the computer to do decisions based on conditions, and those conditions are boolean conditions, which can be true or false. And to check that is of type boolean, I'm gonna type here type to get the type of this variable, which is boolean, and I'm going to put parentheses around the variable online. Now if I run this code, we get class bool. So we have the short name bool, which comes from boolean data type for storing true or false. Alright, this is our discussion about variables, and I'll see you in the next video.